Hello, my fellow Maffetoners. Today we are going to be talking about how I choose the amount of mileage that I run. What this video is not going to be is a very generalized thing about here are the 5 steps to determine your weekly mileage. Because that you could just go out and run until you get hurt and then just run a little bit less than that once you feel better again. Though I don't highly recommend that. So what this video is something more specific. I don't know why I have a pen and why I'm jabbing it at you, but it's a specific video. For example, let's say I have a race on October 9th, which I do, the Chicago Marathon. I started this, preparing for it March the 5th. This is 31 weeks, right? So how many miles am I going to run a week leading up to that? It's going to go progressive, but how much is too much? What if I don't run enough? How would I know what to run? Enter Josh Sambrook. Josh Sambrook is a 2:28 marathoner based across the pond. I first saw him on a video with the great Floris Gierman on the Extra Milist podcast a few years back as I was getting into the Maffetone method. Josh has a website, jset.run, joshsambrook.endurance-training.run. He offers 2 services, a coaching service, which I do not take part of. This is not a sponsored Josh Sambrook deal, but he does offer a second subscription, I guess you would say. So what he has is a little bit more complicated. So as you can see on the website, what you do is you put in your target pace and your race. So for me, it's a marathon at a 2:59, trying to break sub 3 on October the 9th, 2022. And then it breaks down what I need to run each particular week that I'm in. So for this week, I've run 41 miles. My average pace has been 8:03. I still need to run 5.3 miles, right? The training prediction currently, if it extracts all of my data like CR plots or the Tanda race predictor, it has me currently in a 3:13:27 shape. And then there's a second line, which for my heart rate prediction is a 3:01:28. We'll get into that in just a second. And it says in recent weeks, I've run 57 miles on a weekly average of an 8:24 pace. As I continue to run, you'll see the blue line here is the training prediction. So each dot is a day that I have run. And over time, over the course, pulling in those last 8 weeks, as I progressively run more, that training time is coming down. The heart rate data will vary. It kind of goes up here because my son got sick and I got sick. Then it got hot and humid. The seasons changed. It took a few weeks for my body to adapt. And then my heart rate came back down and started humming along. This is the weekly breakdown. You can see here is from March when I started. The red, which kind of looks, I don't know, purple, orange, something, underneath the blue says that here's my goal, 43 miles. And the blue is how much I ran. I ran 50 miles at that 8:57 pace. So you can see it's now requiring 41 miles at an 8:48 pace, because that's what I ran. I ran 55 miles in 8:48, but I would have had to run 41 if that was the pace. It gets a little complicated because the slower you run, the more miles you have to run. As you can see, I think there's a scale back week where I did a half marathon. Where is it? Right here. And so 13 of those miles were at a 6:53 pace. So my overall pace was a 7:47 for the week. I only ran 34 miles. At a 7:47 pace that week, I only would have had to run 24 miles to successfully run the amount of mileage for that week, right? And so down here, you can see the chart. We've got the total distance up and the average pace on the bottom. So if I ran 110 miles, if I wanted to run a 10-minute mile, I would have to run 110 miles this week. On the flip side of it, I would have to run 30 miles if I was running at about a 720. I usually will end up around here in the 8 to 8:30 range. That's more realistic of what I have to do at this point in my training block. All right, so this program doesn't really have a plan, like a running plan, a training plan, Monday this, Tuesday this, Wednesday that, Thursday that. It's just saying overall, here's, choose your own adventure. Here's how you have to get there through miles and pace. Since I have 31 weeks before the marathon from March to October, I'm in a 15-week aerobic base building period. So the adventure that I'm choosing as a low heart rate journey for these 15 weeks, it's 100-0, 95-5. There's just a light dusting of speed work in there, but it's really just low heart rate training. So what I've noticed in these 15 weeks is that as it's going up, more is required of me, the mileage each week. I'm also getting faster at the same low heart rate. So I'm running roughly around the same amount of mileage to cover my bases, and I am hitting it pretty regularly. Beginning June the 20th, I am starting a marathon training plan through lowHRtraining, which is operated by Sage Canaday and his girlfriend Sandy. We've got an all-in Boston qualifier training plan, and this is the one that I chose back in mid-2020 before I even found the Maffetone method. The higher running plan, not the all-in Boston qualifier. I was only running for like 6 months. I wasn't trying to do a couch to Boston qualifier. I think my first half marathon time trial, because you couldn't race anywhere, it was like a 1:48. So I couldn't even imagine doing that twice and somehow ending up near 3:30. Like cutting 3 minutes and then doing that twice, like it was impossible. I didn't understand how to get faster. So until I found Floris Gierman's Extra Mileless podcast and got into the Maffetone method, which is what I'm all about here. So will I use Josh Sambrook's deal in my lowHRtraining marathon training block? Absolutely yes, 100%. I've got more information on that. I got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I want to do because I can never do the plan just as prescribed. I got to mix it up a little bit. But it's kind of merging some heart rate into that training plan. This is my dog. The dog needs to go out. So that's my cue. I got to go. I am going to document my journey through the lowHRtraining training plan and be making videos week to week, weekly, all the way up to the Chicago Marathon. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome, and I will talk more then.